Welcome. Stay with me as we expand our knowledge with videos from all over the internet that's going to make you question reality. Let's just start.
Now, I have to be honest, something about these women going to space on Monday is just not sitting right with me. Because first, when Katy Perry initially announced that she was going to space, her fans were not happy at all, and they didn't hold back on letting her know through Instagram. Katy's only response to the concerns was turning off the Instagram comments and moving on with her plan. But then Gayle King went on live TV and said that she's extremely terrified about this upcoming trip to space, which
Why are you
made
going
people
there?
genuinely concerned, so they started asking her, well, why are you doing this? And Gayle King still hasn't given a reason why she paid for a flight to space that she's extremely terrified of. She just says that she hopes to inspire others with this historic flight to space. And after doing my research and finding out that they're basically just entering space and coming right back down, I'm really trying to figure out what's the draw behind these space flights. Because just getting one of these trips is nearly impossible. And then let's not talk about the price. So these space trips seem more of a hassle than a benefit to me. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Do you feel like something's up with all of these space trips all of a sudden?
Always watch the other person's eyes carefully. If someone has that look, you better run. Dead eyes, emotionless, blank stares are the hallmark of psychopaths and narcissists. As if there is no soul behind them, they lack empathy. Such people are master manipulators who make you believe you are special and then destroy you. A good example is Ted Bundy. Several people have noted that when he spoke or smiled, his eyes remained completely emotionless. The dead eye is otherwise typical of a sociopath. Second is the killer psychopathic eye. The killer psychopathic gaze. This rounded, inhuman gaze takes over. Such people want to dominate you. If you notice it on someone, break eye contact immediately. Protect your body, your soul, and move away. Third, a look of pain and pressure. Stress, excessive pressure, and internal struggles can lead to a look like this. For example, Michael Jackson. His lower eyelids drooped slightly, reflecting a kind of permanent sadness. Many people thought his eyes radiated pain and deep emotion, as if he was a lost soul in the spotlight. Fourth, this eye is similar to the previous one, yet there is a fearful uncertainty behind it. You have to be very careful. These eyes are trying to get rid of something. Fifth, the mysterious secretive eyes. These eyes don't tell you everything. It's as if they are hiding a dark secret. It's no coincidence that Pennywise the Clown has those eyes. People like that put extra pressure on you to feel insecure. Sixth, the totally disillusioned psychotic look. This look is no longer human. It is a mirror of absolute psychopathy. There is nothing to do but run. It is not for nothing that the eye is the mirror of the soul. Therefore,
what color skin? What
Crazy.
color is your skin?
Peach.
I like that. I like that. so much.
Peach.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not white, right? It's kind of more like a peach.
Yeah.
And what color is your best friend at school, Vinicius? What color is his skin?
Brown.
Yeah. What color is Sister Joyce's skin?
Brown.
Yeah. What's the difference between people who have peach skin or brown skin?
Nothing.
Nothing, right?
Your Chanel cosmetics, 80% are made in China and cost only $5. They just add the logo in France and charge you 10 to 40 times the price. Close your eyes. If your Chanel cosmetics says made in China, will it feel cheaper? It's not about quality, it's about brainwashing. Interesting fact, what makes Chanel cosmetics 42% are crafted by Chinese artisans. We don't do cheap goods, we do understand luxury.
I know for a fact that if my name wasn't written on the side of this bag and I wore this out and about, somebody would think that it's Celine. They would think it's Givenchy. They would think it's a French brand. Now, I have a French taste, but I ain't crazy, all right? I'm not going to have my made there because I already know how it's going to go. So I make my goods in China because I want to be able to give my consumer a more competitive price. And I know that's the place that I can do that. But it has nothing to do with being cheap. If you are a good designer, you know great quality, and you are good enough at your technical design, you can make the same thing. My bags are not made in mass manufacturing warehouses. They are made by individual artisans. One technician touches this one bag from start to finish. And you can tell because the detailing is extremely
Looks good.
fine.
Yeah.
And of course, it's unique and beautiful. I have gone to China 3 to 4 times a year for 10 years straight. Now I only go about once a year. But every single trip that I have ever taken, I walk away with a wealth of knowledge all the time. And the first thing that I've always noticed about the Chinese culture is that they are incredibly into details. Every small, minute thing matters. And that's perfect for me because I'm a Cancer and I love details. We need to also remember that the Chinese culture is 4,000 years old. Their dynasties go back to 1600 BCE, and some of the same skills that they had in 1600 BCE, they still utilize today. What does that tell you? That means if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They know what they're doing, and they get bad PR as constantly being told that they have things that are cheap. And yes, they do. They absolutely have a plethora of things that are cheap. But a lot of those cheap items are because of their clients. Their clients are people who want mass manufactured products. They care more about volume than they do quality control. I would say someone like Forever 21, H&M, Shein, Level Clothing, they're not using mulberry silk. They're going to use polyester. They're not using viscose. They're going to use a nylon blend, right? So they're not using the most premium quality. They're using run-of-the-mill stuff, and their objective is just to get as many out there as they possibly can. The reason why I showed this picture is this was on my first trip to China, and I remember going exploring, and I walked by and I saw all these vases and I was just blown away. It doesn't look like it from this photo, but they're about, this smaller one here is probably about 5.5 feet tall. It was almost at my eye level, and I'm 5'10". So it's very large. And every single one of these were hand painted. And I asked the guy, I said, how much? And so he writes on the calculator and he shows me that it was $10,000. Now you would think this is in China. Why is it $10,000? Because this is their trade. This is what they do. These are not made by a machine. These are handmade porcelain. Do you not realize that the best porcelain in the world comes from where? Who? China. Same thing with silk. I mean, we can go on and on about the different products that they have within their country that are often sought after, but it's really sad that people constantly forget that they are an actual legacy dynasty of people who care about details. Once upon a time, I used to design glass ornaments, and I loved it. I thought it was the most fascinating thing ever. And when I was visiting this factory, I fell in love with the artistry of glass making. It really is like nothing else. And I remember thinking to myself, we could never be America, a mass manufacturing country like this, because we don't have enough people that actually care to learn the art form. It's not just a job. You actually need to be a creative person, but I digress. So anyway, I'm in this factory and I look over and I see these master cartons stacked up to the left and they all say Dior. And I thought, like, Dior? And I look over to the right and I see these little white boxes. And on the side of the white boxes, it says Christian Dior Paris. And I said, what is this? And she said, oh, Karika, that is for Christian Dior. It's our client. I said, you're what? And she said, yes, we make ornaments for Christian Dior. They give them away as gifts, holiday gifts. And I was like, really? That is so interesting. Because they're going to be out here talking about we are the best, we're up here, blah, blah, blah. But then you're utilizing Chinese labor and you lie and don't tell people. I also noticed that it's a really big popular trend on websites. You will see this all the time where somebody will write imported. When it says country of origin, it says imported, or PRC, which stands for People's Republic of China. You're ashamed to say China? Did you know that the Great Wall of China is 13,171 feet long? It goes all the way from China into Russia, built by hand. It's incredible. They really are an amazing, talented, advanced culture of people. I'm always blown away with their new construction, like some of the buildings that they have that I'm just blown away. I'm like, they are living so far in advance, and everybody in America thinks that they're this shit ass place. I'm like, but you need to go over there and take a visit. Actually, some of you should stay here. That's okay. Some of you don't need to go. But if you do go, make sure that you fly business. Do not fly economy. I do not recommend. And also, if you ever go to China, do not, I repeat, do not drink Chinese Red Bull. You will be up for 3 days, but the espresso is good. The moral of the story is a lot of these luxury companies utilize Chinese labor and they just slap their name on it. And you have been conditioned to thinking that anything that says China is less than, when in reality, a lot of your luxury goods are in fact made in China. You're welcome.
Balenciaga. Okay.
Being around insecure people will make you insecure. being around confident people who kind of know what they're doing, who've got their act together, who are trying to make things and accomplish things. Because there's so many people out there who talk and talk and talk, but never do anything. Being around people who do things, who get things done, who've made a business, who've made this, that, or the other, they're gold to be around because they'll infect you with their positive energy.
You know how you know white people are crazy? Listen to their music. You know what I'm saying? Music will tell you a lot about people. That's why you know brothers are saying we got music that got a beat you can follow. Even Mexican people. Even little Oriental people. White people. Just so sick ass shit. You know what I'm saying? They always talking about banning rap. They need to ban that heavy metal shit. You know what I'm saying? That's some old satanic ass shit. Every time you go to the record store, you see one of them covers got devils with spikes in their heads, little kids coming out their nose on skateboards with candy in their head. Just sick ass shit. And every time they come out on stage, they always high out their motherfucking mind. Their lyrics are some old fucked up shit. They come out on stage. You ready to fucking rock and roll? You ready to fucking rock and roll? You ready to fucking rock and roll? This next song is about my mom. It's called Mommy's Gotta Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mommy came in the house, tried to hit me in the mouth. So I shot her in the head. Now Mommy's dead. Mommy's gotta go. Mommy's gotta go. Mommy's gotta go.
Oh, She's gotta fucking go.
Daddy walked in the door, said, "What you kill Mommy for?" I said, "You better watch your step, fucker. You might be next." He's gotta go.
ABC News has obtained a videotape that shows clearly what happened when the president fell ill. Here's White House correspondent Ann Compton.
Here's something odd I came across. This is President Bush Sr., not to be confused with his son, a later president. And in 1992, he vomited on the Japanese prime minister and then fainted. Now the odd things. Firstly, I don't remember this happening at all. But now there's all these clips on YouTube I'm just seeing. Secondly, watch his wife. That's Barbara Bush, who some say is Aleister Crowley's daughter. Some say is a man. As soon as she sees he's gonna vomit, she darts over to cover his mouth and nose. Possibly the worst thing you could do, right? Was she trying to hide something being seen from camera? And thirdly, look at this news clip. They are about to report that the president died the same day, then suddenly backtrack.
This just into CNN headline news, and we repeat, or we say right off the bat, we have not confirmed this through any other source. Stop. We are now getting a correction. We will not give you that story. It was regarding some rather tragic news involving President Bush, but...
That's the way the ruling class operates in any society. They try to divide the rest of the people. They keep the lower and the middle classes fighting with each other so that they, the rich, can run off with all the fucking money. Fairly simple thing, happens to work. You know, anything different, that's what they're going to talk about. Race, religion, ethnic and national background, jobs, income, education, social status, sexuality, anything they can do, keep us fighting with each other so that they can keep going to the bank. You know how I describe the economic and social classes in this country? The upper class keeps all of the money, pays none of the taxes. The middle class pays all of the taxes, does all of the work. The poor are there just to scare the shit out of the middle class. Keep them showing up at those jobs.
And Malcolm X too.
Yeah, what about Obama?
Y'all said Malcolm X? Obama.
Yeah.
Listen, let me tell you something you don't know, right? Listen, and I'm gonna clarify this. right? For everybody, even in Chicago. Did you know that every president in America, all 44 of them bitches been cousins, including Obama? Look it up.
Oh, really?
Obama is cousins to Christopher Columbus. So nobody this whole time has been voting. That's how stupid everybody is. And only one president have not been their cousin and they killed him. I'm gonna let everybody else figure out who that was. And it's not John F. Kennedy. He was cousin too. But all 44 of them been cousin. Obama they cousin. Yeah, he ain't black. He they cousin. Me, y'all stupid. Y'all believe anything. You're the world in the tree.
Wait.
Damn,
Yeah, they cousin. Look it up. Look it up.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, it's true. All 44 are cousins.
They're bringing back the woolly mammoth for what purpose?
That one is for a plethora of reasons, but the main one is to combat climate change, because woolly mammoth stomping in ice returns the Arctic tundra to more of what it used to be, which is like an icy plains as opposed to a wooded area. And it's complicated, you can read about it, but long story short, by them knocking over trees and crushing down the snowpack, which creates like an igloo, a warming effect, that can cool the earth up to 6 degrees, which is a lot, which slows down the melting of the permafrost, which is what's releasing so many carbon emissions into the atmosphere in the Arctic. So it's a whole cyclical thing that helps combat global warming.
What kind of benefit does the company get out of that?
They will make billions and billions of dollars in carbon offset credits if they're successful.
What is that, a government type of funding?
Carbon offset credit is if you can prove that you are combating the amount of carbon emissions that we're putting into the air, then you get paid a credit. And so, yeah, it's I don't know. I don't think it's government. It's more like global.
Why don't we see any light? Look here. The Earth is a globe. Here's the proof. I got this cartoon over here, right? The Earth is a globe.
I'll tell you another quote that completely changed my life. It was Lao Tzu. He said, "Nothing rushes in nature, yet everything gets accomplished." This showed me that all of the stress that was on my mind was because I was moving at the speed of society and not the speed of which God worked. You see, he puts things in our lives in trials and tribulations, rainstorms and thunderstorms, for us to dig our roots deeper into the ground so we can grow and sprout into the very thing that he sees of us. You see what I'm saying? But this takes a lot more time than it does in what we think it takes in society. And on top of that, it showed me that I was comparing speed to what other people were doing, not knowing how long their season was to get to where they got. So all of this stress literally wiped away when I heard nothing rushes in nature, yet everything gets accomplished. Like if you look at the trees, and look at how they grow, if you sit there, it doesn't matter, you can sit there all day, it looks like they're not growing at all, yet they still got to the height of which they got. See what I'm saying? Sometimes it takes a longer time. And there's also another quote that hit me. It said, "We often overestimate what we can do in a year, but we underestimate what we can accomplish in a lifetime." The only thing that you can control is not quitting. The timing is controlled by a power that's way above you, but you must trust it. The only thing you can control is not quitting. If you do not quit, I promise you, nothing is rushing in nature, and everything gets accomplished. If you work with nature, you work with the way, and it works with you. I promise.
There's little evidence of a trade war at the Jiahao Flag Company in Anhui Province. Workers bustle and sewing machines hum. A current hot seller, blue and white banners declaring the centerpiece of Trump's re-election campaign.
What I'm making here now is the Trump banner. I know that he's the U.S. president. Every day we must produce over 1,000 of this. We already made so many batches of them.
The banners highlight a paradox in China-U.S. relations under the current Trump administration. At about $1 a piece, even the suppliers to the Trump campaign can't resist the low price. The factory also made banners for his 2016 campaign and said its business has been great since then.
Buy American and hire American.
Crazy. Trump has long railed against Chinese imports and launched a controversial trade strategy this year to punish Beijing. Yet his move is merely making America more expensive. The U.S. Department of Commerce said flax and other textile products will be subject to a 10% levy. One seller said that would be enough to double the price of a Make America Great Again hat to $20 a pop. And his hardline stance towards China could eventually repel suppliers like the Jiahao Flag Company.
Personally, this is my own feeling, but if he continues to demand tariff increases as he has been doing, I definitely would not be able to accept more orders. That's because everyone can have a patriotic heart, so we won't let him improve his own economy, while us Chinese just shoot ourselves in the foot.
That makes sense. That's fair.
I know that Trump's tariffs targeting China will have some effect, but we're not worried at all since we're producing foreign flags every single day.
If Trump's midterm election rallies have no flags to fly, there's only one man to blame. Sun Tianyuan, CGTN.
Let me tell you what bugs me about human endeavour. I've never been the human in question. Have you? Mankind went to the moon. I don't even know where Grimsby is. Forget progress by proxy. Land on your own moon. It's no longer about what they can achieve out there in your behalf, but what we can experience up here in our own time. It's called mental wealth.
What if I told you that one woman, working alone in the shadows, created the most complete television archive in history? That for 35 years straight, she recorded every second of the news, never missing a moment, because she knew the truth was being manipulated right in front of our eyes. This isn't science fiction. This is real. And yet almost no one talks about her. This is the untold story of Marion Stokes, the black woman who saw what was coming and tried to warn us. In 1979, as the Iranian hostage crisis unfolded, Marion noticed something chilling. The way news stories changed, how narratives shifted overnight, how footage would disappear without a trace. She saw history being rewritten in real time, and she realized something no one else did. If no one recorded the truth as it happened, it would be erased forever. So, she made a decision that would consume the rest of her life. She would record everything. At first, it was just a few VHS tapes. But soon, her mission took over her entire world. She rigged her home with multiple VCRs, recording 24/7, flipping tapes every 6 hours without fail. Her house became a fortress of televisions and stacks of tapes, floor to ceiling. News from CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, local stations. She captured it all, amassing an archive unlike anything the world had ever seen. While the rest of the country watched history unfold, she trapped time itself on tape, preserving every contradiction, every media manipulation, every moment they wanted us to forget. But this wasn't just a hobby. This was an obsession, a calling, and a sacrifice. Marion barely left her home. She cut herself off from family and friends. Every part of her life revolved around keeping the recordings going. She spent her fortune on blank tapes and VCRs. No one could change the channel. No one could stop the tapes. Even when she slept, the machines kept rolling. People thought she was crazy. They laughed at her, but she wasn't paranoid. She was right. News stations routinely deleted their lost archives, erasing their own history. What they aired one day could be gone the next, rewritten, altered, or buried. But Marion, she kept the receipts. She recorded wars, elections, riots, terrorist attacks,
Yeah, I like that dedication. That's
assassinations,
so crazy.
propaganda, all of it, unfiltered and unedited. She caught media lies, retractions, and contradictions that never should have disappeared. And here's where it gets disturbing. When Marion died in 2012, her family discovered over 70,000 VHS tapes stacked in every corner of her home. Some were labeled, others weren't. Decades of lost news, secret footage, vanished broadcasts, things the world had long forgotten. But here's the real question. What's on those tapes that we still don't know about? What moments were erased from history? What truths were hidden? Her archive is now being digitized, but not everything has been released to the public. Why? What's being held back? What did Marion capture that someone doesn't want us to see? They don't teach this story in history books, but they should. They want us to forget, but we won't.
Crazy. Okay, they are synchronizing. Okay. Ah, everything is synchronized. The environment change the vibration. That's so true. I believe that. It's perfect now. Very much informed.
Because I don't know what men want. I don't. I'm.
So what are you
men,
arguing?
Men are
So, go
so simple that it's complicated for us women to understand because we're so complex as to why men have to be like, let me figure out this woman so that I could be with her, or let me figure out this woman so I can go out on a date with her. Like, for example, I step out with my man and the only thing I know what to do is shut the fuck up until I'm fucking spoken to. Like, I went out with him, like, it was in Arizona. We were in Tempe, Arizona. His whole, like, team had, like, a section or whatever. He was like, babe, do you want to go out to the club? I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. I'm not spoken to. I don't speak to anybody until somebody speaks to me because I don't know these niggas. I don't know them. Like, what am I speaking to you for? I'm here with my man. I'm not here with y'all. I'm not a groupie bitch that's there. Like, you know, as a female, especially as my man's woman, my duty as his woman is to shut up until I am spoken to. And even if I am spoken to by one of his teammates, you keep it short and sweet. It's not even me holding myself with confidence or high value. That's just me having a sense of, like, just being a fucking woman.
This is your reminder that there are secret underground cities all around you.
Do you
Watch
remember
this.
this TikToker who suddenly died after claiming that he discovered a giant on top of a hill? Just months after his mysterious death, another man went viral for claiming that he saw a giant entering a massive secret door in the mountain.
Right up there. That thing was open. It opened completely
Secret
up,
doors
and then
all
it closed
over,
back
y'all.
up.
And he described it just like the recent video of an alleged giant sighting. The difference is that the giant door has a peephole in it.
And there's a little slot in it right up there. You can see that little slot where it looked like somebody was staring out of. Dude, giants are freaking real. I don't care what anybody says.
This video instantly went super viral. Immediately, fans requested that he go back and investigate further, and he immediately did.
We're gonna get up there. We're gonna get what we need to get done.
He also noticed suspicious marks on the way to the alleged giant door.
The spot in the mountain right here, as it goes up, that's really worn different from the rest of the hillside. It looks like drag marks, like something's dragging something up there, like continuously dragging something, like pulling something up the hillside.
But his next video started to scare his fans. He realized that he's being followed just like Andrew Dawson.
We just been staying
Government
low
agents,
key.
y'all.
When I wake up in the morning and I'm going, this is what I run into. It's down the road. And then sometimes it's up the other side of the road. And sometimes it just follows me around town. And there's a white truck that does the same thing.
He's not faking it because he even caught these white trucks on camera.
The government is hiding so much right beneath our feet, y'all. As always, let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. Stay weird.
And we're very powerful. This country is very powerful. Let me tell you, it's far more powerful than people understand. We have weaponry that nobody has any idea what it is, and it is the most powerful weapons in the world that we have. More powerful than anybody even, not even close. So nobody's going to do that, but I think that if that's what you're referring to, maybe it's not. But just
Lori just exposed Kanye for having multiple STDs and stinking as bad as a walking dead man. Word on the street is Bianca didn't know Kanye was having all these multiple STDs till she married him. And the worst part is he allegedly hasn't been treating them, so he stinks all the time and she's done putting up with it. A source close to Bianca literally said, and I quote, "It's a serious stench when the layers come off and he's dripping in sweat head to toe, especially as he's not big on showering, and poor Bianca's nostrils are on the receiving end." Bianca herself had her things to say about Kanye right out of her own mouth, and she posted it all over her close friends on Instagram thinking no one will see it, but someone leaked it, and baby, you're not gonna believe the things she was saying about Kanye. Kanye's STDs and chronic stank is reportedly why Kim Kardashian left him, and Bianca is about to do the same thing to him. Apparently, Kanye actually got these illnesses from allegedly indulging in Diddy's freak-offs, and that is the reason why he was on X just a few days ago defending Diddy and asking for him to be released from jail. Multiple other SEX workers also came out claiming that Kanye hired them for free freak-offs, and these people included both men and women, with some of the men claiming that Kanye S.'d them. Now, some of y'all might be wondering why the hell Bianca will come out with all of this now after allowing Kanye to humiliate her and to use her as a prop for his weird freak-off inspired costumes. Word on the street is it has to do with the recent interview Terrence Howard did exposing Diddy for trying to sleep with him. Apparently, Bianca didn't think people would believe her, especially
Luciferian, globalistic. It requires Nephilim sex magic.
Oh, okay.
And it requires the building up of iniquity, of iniquitous bloodlines, and then you cash in on it. So what they'll do is they'll take a girl, abuse the snot out of her, have her get pregnant. She has a baby, and they have a second bloodline, third. At about the fourth generation, if they perform next Nephilim sex magic and blood ritual abuse on that fourth generation, it's a sorcerous, powerful thing to them. And, I didn't know anything about any of that. Yeah. I didn't know. I mean, dude, again, I'm from Joshua, Texas, and I'm just a guy that, hey, we have an opportunity to rescue kids, and we got an opportunity to do this. We got an opportunity to do that. And we started doing that, and we just started seeing it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's like when we started coming across South Africans with the first name L. Really? All over the world. All over the world. And it's like, if you come across a child or a young woman or a young man that, like, what are you doing in Uganda? Why are you here? Well, somebody brought me here. I had to escape something. And their first name is L. El Sion. Can you think of any famous South Africans that their first name begins with EL? Like Elon?
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
Yeah, that is all.
I didn't even think about that.
It's EL. So it's like on Stranger Things. What's that chick's name?
11.
Yeah, exactly right. And everybody calls her L.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now we're cooking.
Now, this whole thing is so real. And I've seen it all over the world. And I had nobody to talk to. Everybody's just like, what am I going to do? I mean, who am I going to go talk to about this, that? And then all of a sudden, it's kind of like, man, you're tracking through the jungle and you got a machete. And then all of a sudden you come into a clearing and boom, there's all these other people there and you find your tribe. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's an important breakthrough whenever you start to do that. It's the sinew forming on the mighty army. Can these dry bones live? The first thing that formed was the sinew. It was the connective pieces. It wasn't the heart. It wasn't a brain. It wasn't guts. It was sinews was the first one. That when you start to connect within the body, no matter how weird that is, it's when you start to raise up an army.
You're on the point of like sort of how sex has always sold and it's getting more and more overt. But there's this other aspect that I've been noticing, and it's OnlyFans. And that OnlyFans, at first, it was so easy for people to paint it as like this great thing where they're going to empower the creators and they're going to make the porn industry safer and they're going to like let the women be in control. And then OnlyFans started doing PG content where they would take porn stars and OnlyFans creators and they would have them do normal TV shows. And this is happening right now. So it's like a travel show or like a cooking show, but it's like a porn star doing a cooking show so that then you can have this porn star on TV on mainstream daytime television. And you can have your 5-year-old, your 8-year-old, your 12-year-old watching a porn star cook food. And it's totally normal. And that is like subversion 101 is start to just blur the lines more and more and get more and more people, make it normalized, make it part of culture and society, just trying to bleed into our schools and into our like as though it's just normal. And I pray that we are waking up in time.
I think a lot of the times what women don't want to talk about is it's like you have these get more bodies. Now one day you want to settle down and try to have a happy housewife life. And it's like, after having all these bodies and having all this memory of these different men going in and out of you, you think you're not going to just be able to just sit down one day and submit to a man and stay loyal to a man after you've had all those different bodies and all those different spirits going in and out of you? And so it's like, not only is there, to me, there's the physical risk that you can have, whether it's pregnancy, whether it's STDs. Some of these dudes could be, who knows? I mean, some of the guys could be dangerous. Who knows? But even apart from that, now you're talking about this is more experience, more and more experience, more mileage you're adding to your body. And then if you think you have You have some of these men, and some of these men literally have for a living. So if you're, for lack of a better term, you're going and you're engaging in prostitutes, you're engaging with men who basically their profession, apart from whatever else they do on the side, is to pleasure women. You go and have those experiences. Now, any and every man that you interact with, you're going to be judging based upon that. You're going to be judging based upon that fantasy. And then now you're supposed to just sit down one day and then just have a happy-go-lucky and be satisfied in that relationship. Now compare him to that fling that you had in Jamaica. And so I think also women start setting themselves up because it's like there's more mileage. And then now you're creating an appetite for something that is largely unrealistic. And then now everything that you do, every man that you attempt to date, every man that you try to settle down with, if you're even trying to do that, you're now going to judge based upon that lens. Nobody's going to measure up. You can't have multiple men and act as if you're not going to have repercussions. Some theories suggest that anytime a woman has a man, he literally leaves his genetic material in her body. If you think about it, just the anatomy of a woman, right? Anytime a man is entering into her woman, times that by 10, 20, 50. Let's say you're a woman walking around with the genetic material of 50 men in your body.
Now it's like
that ain't going to mess up your pH balance.
20,000.
That ain't going to mess up your hormones. That ain't going to mess up your psychology. Like, we act like we can do these behaviors and there's no repercussions. And that's not real life. That's maybe what you see on televisions. That's maybe what we see in these different series. But the reality of how it impacts you, it's not just physical. It's not just emotional.
Spiritual.
It's spiritual.
True.
It impacts you on every single level. This is why I don't agree with that.
Guys, and we've come to the end of the video. Very interesting videos. So interesting. Like, very interesting, I must say. But then every good thing has to come to an end, right? So yeah, we are at the end of this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also share with your friends, and also click on the notification bell icon so that any content that I post, you will be the first to get it. Adios amigos. I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye.